Welcome to the Dream Life is Real Life podcast with your host, Hannah Hermanson, bringing you real life stories of people who realized their dreams to educate and inspire you to create your legacy of abundance now.
Hey friends, today I am here with another Hannah. I'm talking to Hannah Morth today. And just so you know a little bit about her before we jump in, Hannah wasn't always so sure about her path in life. From graduating from college and then landing some dead-end cubicle jobs to network marketing, Hannah found herself wondering, is this it? Until she discovered that so many others have been asking themselves the exact same question. Hannah is on a mission to help people live limitless lives by pursuing entrepreneurial endeavors to leave their 9-to-5s. One, because they deserve to, and two, because they are absolutely capable of doing so. Currently, she is a personal business coach for ambitious millennials who are looking to create, monetize, and uplevel with ease in their coaching businesses. You may have seen Hannah. She's been featured in Medium, ThriveGlobal.com, IamDanNelson.com, the Daily Grind podcast, and the Magna Moves in Business podcast. When she isn't working on her business or personal development, you'll find Hannah hiking, traveling, trying a new recipe, reading, or binge watching a show on Netflix, or apparently being interviewed on more podcasts. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you because we are soul sisters in a lot of ways. And I'm looking forward to digging more into your story because I know so many listeners are going to be able to relate to you taking on your limitless life and leaving your 9-to-5.
Yeah, absolutely.
So take us back to those moments that you were wondering, is this it? Tell us about that sort of phase of your life and ultimately what decided you to take on entrepreneurial endeavors for yourself.
Yeah, so I do have to take you back a ways to my college years, which weren't actually too long ago. But when I was there, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I didn't know, what to major in or what even I was passionate about. So I kind of just majored in what I like to learn about, which was French and international studies or international relations. And I didn't really have a plan for where that was going. I didn't have a job planned out for when I graduated. I just assumed it was all going to work out. And I think a lot of people, college students do that too, where they're like, it'll just work out. I don't need to worry about it now. I'll worry about it then. And then they get there and it just doesn't work out. And that's pretty much exactly what happened to me. So I started working at a dead-end 9-to-5 cubicle job, and I knew within 3 months that I hated it. Like, that was not the right choice for me. I had chosen the wrong path for myself, and I had no clue what to do. And I even remember at one point, or one day in particular, when I was sitting at my cubicle, and I glanced over at my coworker, who at the time was in her 60s and just pretty much on the verge of retirement, didn't really care about the job anymore. And I was looking outside, I was daydreaming, thinking of any way I could be out there, trying to find a way to get out of working that day. Should I call in, should I just say I'm sick? I have a really bad headache, family emergency. Like, what could I come up with to get out of working that day? And so I looked over at my coworker and I was like, oh my God, if I don't change this, if I don't change what I'm doing, I'm going to be her in 40 years. And I just knew that there had to be so much more than that. There just, like anything, I was like, there just has to be something more than what I'm currently doing. This can't be my future because I can't do it. So I just started kind of figuring out what it was that I wanted in life. I knew that I wanted to work from home so I would have a little bit more flexibility in a schedule and didn't necessarily have to work between the hours of 9-to-5. And that I would also potentially have travel more. So I was looking around for opportunities for that. I started a really integral personal development journey where I started reading all the books and listening to all the webinars and connecting with like-minded people so that I could just learn more and better myself. And that's kind of when I stumbled upon the online entrepreneurial community. And from there, I started talking to people, seeing what existed, figuring out what knowledge and what interests and what skills I already had that I could apply into potentially creating my own business. And around that time, I reconnected with an old supervisor of mine from an internship I had had in college. And we started talking and reconnecting, and I eventually became her virtual assistant, which allowed me to see the back parts of being a personal business coach, which is what she had gone into. So I was able to see all of that, and I was really inspired and just loved everything she was doing. And it didn't take me long to realize that I wanted to be doing the exact same thing so that I could help other people pursue these entrepreneurial endeavors so that they can leave their 9-to-5s and lead these limitless lives. And that is pretty much where I am now.
Wow. Yeah, it seems like a pretty doable path, if you will, or something relatable. You know, I definitely had those feelings in my cubicle as well of like, wow, I am looking down a path to retirement. Like, what does that even mean for me? And what am I going to do for the next 30 years? Kind of like you with that contrasting feeling of like, how do I get out of here? And what if I end up here?
Yeah.
And then just really throwing yourself into learning and taking on those personal development tools or resources. And then how awesome to really see clearly in your story that the power of people and reconnecting with folks that are in the place you want to be and expanding your network have led you to the realization that I can do this too, or this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like the people that I had in my life before I started connecting with like-minded people who were pursuing entrepreneurial endeavors, who were starting their own businesses, they were the people I looked up to. So I was seeing people who were in their 50s and 60s who had worked for 40 years at these dead-end 9-to-5 jobs and seeing how happy they were. And those are the people that I was looking up to. So I really had to change my mindset, and by connecting with these other people who had these large aspirations, you know, public speaking, starting their own businesses, being their own bosses, just doing these really incredible things. It just started raising the bar for me and realizing that, wow, these are people I can really look up to. These are people that I should be learning from.
Yeah, it's like Oprah says. She says, you know, surround yourself with people who lift you higher. And I know it's so critical, and we talk about it so much. Like, you become the 5 people you spend the most time around, and surround yourself with good vibes. But, you know, you mentioned, I think, Facebook groups and a former supervisor, but what other tips do you have for people who might be in that cubicle space or that where do I get started space for starting to align themselves with those people that you just mentioned?
Yeah. So I would definitely recommend I would start off with looking into books and just reading more about how you can better yourself. However, if you're looking to start to meet like-minded people, going to those online spaces where they are sitting is a really great place to meet them. But that's people worldwide. If you want to meet people that are more in your community, then start looking for events that your community is holding, different entrepreneurial public speaking events, or maybe places at your local college, or any places like that you know that these people are going to, and that you can talk to them and connect with them and maybe even become friends with them.
Totally. You guys, if I can hunt down my high school classmates and spend 2 hours creeping on their Facebook profile, you can find a few people in your community or online. Hannah is so right. There are so many opportunities and places we have to show up, whether that's in person or online, to start, like brushing shoulders with the people that you want to be like, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you live in a small town, I feel like a lot of people are like, well, I don't live in a big city, those events don't exist where I am. Then find the nearest big city. Maybe you have to travel a little bit, but I think it'll be worth it for you to be able to align yourself with those people.
I love it. I have a mentor who talks about the beginning of him sort of getting out of his comfort zone or starting to take big leaps of faith, or, however you want to phrase it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really hesitant about putting himself out there, even starting these conversations, going to events, joining the Facebook group. And he had someone tell him, "You don't know if you don't go." And not to ignite a whole bunch of FOMO, fear of missing out in everyone. Yet it's so true. I sometimes love staying home, hiding behind my computer. And I think that to myself, I don't know what's waiting. I don't know who is there unless I go. And there's so much to be said about just showing up. So I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to fast forward a little bit now that we heard more about the fact that just aligning yourself with the people you want to be like was a huge catalyst for you stepping into your dream life or your limitless life. I want to talk a little bit more about what you're doing now and what the reality is of working from home, being your own boss, and kind of diving into what your real life looks like right now, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. So, go ahead.
Well, I guess my question, because I heard you say I wanted to work from home and I wanted to be able to travel. And I think that there's a lot of exciting that comes with that, but it's not all super glamorous. So what are some of the things that you didn't quite expect that happened to you when you started working from home or being your own boss?
Yeah, I didn't really think it was going to be glamorous, and some aspects of it really are. I really am living my dream day, my ideal life at this moment. But there are instances that I realize that are a little bit more difficult than I expected or anticipated. Yeah. So there are days where I realize I'm at home for 3 days in a row and I haven't even left my house. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to get out of here. What am I doing? And I'll have
go to Target.
Yeah. Or just anything, a nearby cafe, just change up your scenery of where you're working.
Yeah.
Because it's what do you call it? When you are in the winter and you're stuck in your house.
Hibernating.
You get cabin fever is what I was thinking of. Yes. You get cabin fever even in the summer. And you're I need to get out of this place. But when you're so busy, and I find myself grinding, every once in a while when I have a lot of big projects that I'm working on, I find myself working these really long days that I hadn't really anticipated on. Mm-hmm. And that can get kind of challenging sometimes just because you get very overwhelmed and very, very tired, and that leads to irritability in relationships. I do live with my significant other. And so on those days where I am working 12 hours and he comes home from work, sometimes we get in small little petty fights, and I know it's because of me. But it's because I am overwhelmed and tired and exhausted. Those are things I really expected.
I totally feel you. I realized when I left my 9 to 5 to do what I loved, I kind of ended up working 5 to 9. And at the beginning, I thought it was fine and I'm doing what I love. This is, just the beginning phase. Yet I quickly realized that it can be all consuming, even though we think, oh, it's my baby, it's my passion project, I love what I do. I also realized how it can impact the other aspects of your life, your relationships, your health. So I know a lot of what you are, I've read in your blogs, and I know you talk about is finding ease and managing stress and anxiety in business. So what sort of tips would you give to these people who are transitioning out of their 9 to 5 into being their own boss to maintain some sanity and make sure that they do feel limitless and not they've created a new cubicle for themselves?
Yeah, I would say definitely start with finding out what your non-negotiables are. So things in your life that work can't interfere with. So for any listeners out there who have kids, you're obviously going to have to make sure you have time to bring them to school, and those sort of non-negotiables, but also time for self-care. And for you to, I don't know, go lay in a bath for an hour, or read a your favorite book, or watch a couple hours of Netflix, or whatever it is for you that just allows you to relax and rejuvenate. and making sure that you're actually taking time for yourself to do those things, because when you do have, that week of working 12-hour days to get that project done, whatever it is that you're working on, you really need to make sure you're taking care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're going to be helping others, then you need to be making sure that you are being at your fullest potential. And you can't do that if you're not taking care of yourself. So definitely making sure that you are participating in self-care. For me, it's making sure that I set aside time to spend with my partner, so that our relationship doesn't deteriorate, I suppose. Just making sure that we are in a good relationship, and spending time and not letting my work, even though I'm working so hard to build it up and to basically up level in it, I need to be making sure that I am giving time to the people who deserve it in my life, so I do maintain those relationships and make them the best that they can be.
So key. So key. And I love what you said about, like, sometimes you do work a lot, or you're in that grind mode, or you have that project. And something that I've been playing with, or trying to implement, is telling my partner, like, okay, look, this week I've got a ton of podcast interviews and I'm onboarding new clients. So I'm going to need extra me time or extra space. And he's pretty good about knowing that means, yes, I'm working. And also I'm like working out more or going to more yoga, because yes, as work expands, like my self-care needs to expand. But he's also kind of clued in that sometimes I say that a lot, and it's like every week is a big week. I need more me time. I need more work time. And I think it's really great to have an accountability partner or a significant other or a coach or someone that can be like, actually, no, like you need fun, or we need to do a date or something like that. So I think it's so awesome that you have a significant other and you're also like working on setting up boundaries for business, self-care, and all the other aspects of your life.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to say that I feel like I've been talking a lot about like grinding, and that's not like completely what owning your own business is. I feel like you need to create a balance between the two. So like there are weeks that I'll be working long hours, and then there's other weeks where maybe I'm working only a couple hours a day, and it kind of balances itself out. And I feel like I just wanted to say that for anybody who is looking to start their own business. I don't want to deter anybody away, because it is all about the hustle. I don't want anybody to think that, because you really do need to make sure that you do balance it out between the weeks or even the days that you have to work a lot and the ones that you maybe don't need to as much.
Yeah. And something else to remind us when we are starting to feel that grind is like, that's your choice. When you leave your 9 to 5 and you make up your own schedule and you become your own boss, like looking at it not as, oh, I have so much to do, or this has to be a big work week, but like I get the choice to schedule when I work more and when I take more time off. So I kind of asked you, like, what were the challenges about becoming your own boss? Take us into like what it means to you to be an entrepreneur, a little bit of your why. Tell us what you love about it.
Yeah. So a big aspect of it was being able to be my own boss. I liked being able to set my own hours and to not have to ask to go on vacation when I want to go on vacation, or if I want to take a day off. If I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm not feeling today, and just want to veg out and watch Netflix on the couch all day, that's completely okay. Whereas when I did work 9 to 5, I would have to have called in and faked being sick.
Or come up with one of those window excuses. You were window gazing.
Yeah, right. Family emergency. So I really love that aspect about it. I love that I'm working towards my own dream and not somebody else's. Because I feel like when I was working that 9 to 5 job, I kept asking myself, like, what am I working for? What am I working towards? What are the goals? What are the dreams? And when you work for such a large corporation, it's not there. It's not evident. And so it was always kind of like, I just remember asking myself, why am I doing this? Like, why does this matter? Why is this one spreadsheet integral to the major dream of the company or whatever it is?
Yeah. Having that bigger or that closer touch to the differences that you're making. And especially I would I know I'm also a business coach. I work one-on-one with people. So knowing that like every day I'm making an impact that's like so evident in someone else's life. And I wake up and I see their faces and I see the progress as opposed to, kind of getting stuck on the hamster wheel of spreadsheets. Oh, I kind of like threw up in my mouth when you said that word. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's move on. I think that, it's really important to think about the freedom that you have and also the ability you have to make a really big impact in your own life and the lives of other people when you decide to step out of a big corporation.
Yeah. I mean, you get the chance to help people. And I feel like I wasn't able to do that at any of my 9-to-5s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's so rewarding.
Yeah. Looking back, maybe when you were gazing out the window or you did take those jobs at a big corporation, what advice would you have loved or what would you have loved to go back and tell your former self?
When I was working at a corporation?
Yeah. And just, thinking about listeners who might be working or looking to take that leap into their own business, like, what do you think they need to hear? What would you have loved to hear in that transitional phase of life?
I would have loved to have heard that you are in the exact that you're supposed to be in right now. Like at that time, you are supposed to be working in your 9-to-5 for whatever reason. And if you have aspirations to start your own business, maybe it was working 9-to-5 that is propelling you forward and motivating you to start that business that you were supposed to have started. So if you are really hating working your 9-to-5, just know that maybe right now you are supposed to be there. And it's all for the better good of your future and what you're supposed to be doing, because you will get the motivation and the experiences that you need to motivate you to start that business. And you'll create really incredible whys for starting your own business from that experience.
Everything is happening for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And I see so much of that sort of optimism and no regrets and everything is optimistic and sort of that you're just so committed to positivity and all the content I see you sharing. And so I'm not surprised by that answer of like, hey, even if you are working 9-to-5, like you're all right and good things are coming. So I love that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like when I was working, all I focused on was the negativity of my situation. I kind of victimized myself. Like, how did I end up in this place? Like, what the hell did I do to get here to deserve this? When really I should have just been thinking to myself, and I really wish somebody would have said, you're supposed to be here right now. For whatever reason, we don't need to know what it is. But for whatever reason, you are here and it's for your better good. You are going to get to where you're supposed to get to. But right now you need to be here and it's not going to be forever.
Yeah. And what are you learning? Even in those moments of like, how the hell did I get here? Like, what am I learning? What is this situation teaching me that I'm going to use for my advancement or for the betterment of my life? Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, Hannah, we are approaching a not so scary pop quiz. You went to college and you studied French and international relations, so you're going to rock this. Our last 3 questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Question number 1. What is one step that listeners can take today to get them closer to their limitless life or their dream life?
Yeah. I would love for everybody listening to, if you haven't started on a personal development journey, I think that is so integral to starting to live your limitless life and seeing what opportunities are out there and what you can learn to better yourself, so that you can use everything that you do learn and bring it into your limitless life. So start reading books that you find and connecting with those like-minded people and watching webinars and joining Facebook groups that resonate with you, just so you can learn as much as you can to start leading your life.
Get into action. Start learning. Seek out resources that will get you closer to those people that we talked about and reading. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
So that is a wonderful transition to question number 2. I would love to know a tangible resource, whether it's a book, a podcast, an experience that maybe changed your life that you would recommend to other listeners. So a tangible resource you would recommend.
Yes. So my favorite book is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And that is,
too.
I know you love that book. Yes, I reread it probably 3 to 4 times a year because all of Jack Canfield's actionable steps in there are exactly what propelled me towards starting my own business. And it was like the second personal development book I had ever read. And it's a pretty long book, but you really devote yourself to reading it, you won't want to stop because there is just so much good information in there and you are going to learn so much. And you can start applying all the lessons to your life and your life will just explode before you in the best way possible because everything is unbelievably amazing in that book.
It is so true. It is so true. And just like Hannah said, doing the work in the book. So the Success Principles is I actually call it my Bible. I think Hannah might have something similar relationship with it because you can go back and read it, but I highly recommend at least one time when you read through it, having a notebook solely dedicated to going through the exercises in the Success Principles. And like she said, your life will explode in the most miraculous ways. So A+ for question number 2. My last question today, Hannah, is how can people stay connected with you and learn more about your work?
Yeah, so I actually have a free gift that I would love to offer listeners. I'm somebody who has worked hard to get media features like this one, and it's really what propelled me forward in my business. And so I have created a masterclass or free masterclass video for your listeners to be able to listen to and learn from so that they themselves can be getting media features like this one. So all they have to do is go to www.limitlessmillennials.com/media features masterclass.
Media Features Masterclass. Very cool. And hopefully that will bring more people having good conversations like this with me and other hosts. And I can totally agree. Yeah, media is a huge place to grow your business and also get your message out. Like we talked about, sharing your why in more places on media sounds like an awesome training. limitlessmillennials.com/media features masterclass. Did I get it right?
That's it. Yep.
All right. Awesome, Hannah. It has been so good hanging out with you, sharing a name, and learning how we can make our lives limitless. Thank you so much for being here. And folks, I will be back next week with another inspiring guest to help you make your dream life your real life.
You've been learning how to make your dream life your real life with Hannah Hermanson. To get the resources mentioned on today's show and to listen to past episodes, visit www.dreamlifeisreallife.com.